Good evening, everybody. We talking about sports back here on a Thursday. No Thursday night football, but as you guys know, we have Super Wild Card weekend coming. A lot to talk about. A lot of movement in the NFL has gone down. Even in the college ranks, there's been some movement. But before we get into all that, Ron, Ben, Justin, how are you guys?
Shit, I'm ready, man. Super Wildcard Weekend is here. I'm ready to go. We got 6 games to talk about. We're going to get into them quick. Hopefully, keep it with under an hour. We'll give you all the best info, all the best headlines. And this weekend's going to be crazy, man. It's going to be super wild.
Yeah, the name Super Wildcard Weekend, the NFL's been scripting, a lot of these matchups. There's a lot of, back history with them. And so what an apropos name to call it by the NFL, Super Wildcard Weekend.
Yeah, I'm super excited for Super Wild Card Weekend. You got 2 teams in the playoffs this year. I know you don't like to give me jokes about it, but now we're gonna really excited. Texans kick off the playoffs. Kind of weird that we have a Monday nighter. I don't know how you all feel about a Monday night playoff game. I really think they were trying to help the Eagles out with all their injuries and shit, but kind of strange to have a Monday nighter. Really excited for the playoffs.
Is this the first Monday nighter? Because I want to say we had one previously.
I want to say there was one last year. I mean, this is the second year since the NFL has made the change in removing one of the bye weeks and just awarding one team that bye week and adding the extra wild card. So I think there was a Monday game last time. But what do you guys? I mean, the one thing that I was looking at too in terms of scheduling is they put a game on Peacock. This is a playoffs. Why are you putting it on Peacock? I know it's the Chiefs. So they're trying to get the Swifties to buy in and get some subscriptions, but I'm definitely not going to be streaming on Peacock. So just another side note, just did not like that from the NFL. But
that one's going to be interesting. Like for the bars, you go to Buffalo Wild Wings and Wings and Rings. I wonder if they're going to be showing the game on Peacock. That's got to be interesting. I know there was a Chiefs defensive player who was buying 90 subscriptions for fans so that they could watch the game. So they're trying everything they can.
Yeah, that's crazy. And Peacock's not super expensive, but the fact is that the NFL customers, they buy Sunday ticket, and then they have to give up Thursday games to Prime. You got to buy another package for that. That's like $112 a year. Sunday ticket's not cheap either. It's like $400. And then you got to spend $5 a month to get Peacock. Man, at some point, the NFL's going to start pricing out their customers.
7-day free trial, Ron, or what?
No, I mean, there's other ways to watch for free, isn't there, Justin? I mean, I'm pretty sure.
Well, it's not free, but for $10 a month, you can get a pay-per-view and the Peacock studio if you want.
Unos 10, $15 a month, garras todo, bro. So
I was gonna say, it sounded like Justin was cutting a promo, and glad Ron came through and finished it out. But guys, before we even get into Super Wild Card Weekend, a lot has gone down. Dare I say, is it the end of an era? This past, I guess today was the last one that came about was Bill Belichick and the Patriots amicably splitting. They decided to part ways. It's not a firing. It's just a mutual, hey, we had fun. We had a great ride. But, hey, it's just not going to work anymore. We're going in 2 different directions. Hope you enjoy the rest of your life, but we're going to go on. Nick Saban here in the middle, working from right to left. This one shocked me. I had no idea this was going to come. I know it was kind of a crazy year, not the best Alabama team, but they still found a way to get to the Final Four. And then you get the news in the middle of the night. It seemed like Nick Saban out in Alabama. And then the last guy on the left, do want to give him a shout out because he is one of the more transcendent coaches, coaching in the NCAA ranks at USC. Before that, even with the New England Patriots, and then again with the Seattle Seahawks, and winning a championship in 2013, is Pete Carroll. He decided to part ways with the Seahawks as that organization tries to go a different direction. Guys, I'm going to throw it to you here. You take it any way you want. The one that surprised you the most, the one that you think is going to leave the biggest shoes to fill? What's y'all's thoughts on these coaches leaving?
I think the one that surprised me the most, honestly, is the Pete Carroll one. Only because he had Geno Smith fighting for his life. He was still coaching him up. He was still getting the most out of his players. You saw the writing on the wall with Bill Belichick this season. Before half the season, they already had started saying, is this his last year? Is he going to be able to part ways, go where he wants? So it was kind of a retirement tour. And with Saban, there was some, hints. You saw him appearing more and more on ESPN. You knew there was an ESPN bag with game day available for him already. And then his daughter would just post the saddest Nick Saban videos like she was about to miss him coaching. So there was hints. Pete Carroll, it's got to be the one I didn't see coming the most.
Interesting. Even though
following
out of
the daughter,
all of them are around 70-ish, right? 72, I think, is the magic number. I don't think they're all 72, but I know they're up around that age. So some of that probably has to do with the age. Ron, Ben, what do you guys think? Is Belichick, is he gonna move on and show us that he can still do it, or are you looking at some other angles here? What are your all thoughts with these departures?
I'll let Ron go.
I'll be quick on mine, man. I think it's just time. They're all up. They've had great careers. They're all up in their 70s. I'm sure they have grandkids by now. They have nothing more to prove, especially Belichick and Saban. I mean, you're only out there for so long. It takes up so much time. There's all these other windows and other avenues that they can do. Not just being an analyst, but the Geico commercials with Saban, and Belichick don't talk, but I'm sure you can throw a bag at him to advertise something, and he'll be good. I think he still sticks around some kind of football operations, but coaching, I don't. I just think that they want a break, bro. They've done it all their lives. They're in their 70s. How much longer do they have to live? Let's just be honest. Let's not be rude or be mean.
It's true.
But I mean, shit, man. If you got, what's the average life expectancy for a male in the United States? Isn't it like 75, 80 years old?
It's in the 70s, so
these guys don't want to. These guys are gonna go die on the field, on the sideline.
And they love it.
Not being funny about it, but it's just It is what it is. They have nothing left to prove, and they've all coached at both levels. College and NFL. Some better than the others, but at the end of the day, you take your hat off. You say thank you for giving us the memories, and then now all these new wave of coaches have huge shoes to fill, and we'll see what happens for them. But I take my hat off. Respect to all these three boys up here.
Ben, how are you looking at these?
The biggest surprise for me was that Belichick did say that he wasn't done coaching. So Belichick will be coaching somewhere else next season. We know that there's a lot of job openings, and even the Patriots opening up with the Titans firing Mike Vrabel a couple of days ago. Yep. It just, a lot of these make a lot of sense. I am curious to see where Belichick ends up. I don't think that he really wants to take on too much of a project. So, somebody like the Los Angeles Chargers makes a lot of sense to me. They were throwing around the idea of maybe the Washington Commanders with their new ownership. But if he wants to go and break the record for all times wins, I don't really see the Commanders as a choice. But yeah, for me, the biggest one was Belichick, and the fact I actually thought it was more of like a firing because he is going to go and play somewhere else. But, it seemed like Robert Kraft was kind of done with the rebuild and the way things had gone. Even in the press conference, from his, not necessarily body language, but the way that he was talking, it just seemed like it was time. It was time to move on. And like I said, they threw them a bone with Vrabel being fired, and that just makes way too much damn sense. I don't expect Vrabel to be a free agent for more than a week. I think that he'll be in New England, by next week's.
And that's the crazy thing about all of this to me is that all of these coaches, Nick Saban, I don't think he retired, but you mentioned Vrabel. There's some other vacancies out there. They're all out there at the same time. Any other year, like Belichick would be able to call his shot, right? Or Vrabel would be able to call his shot, but they kind of got to wait and see. And the other guy that we haven't mentioned is Harbaugh. From Michigan. We all know that he's going to throw his name in the ring to be an NFL coach. He already hired an NFL agent. Yee, I think is the last name. does a lot of the big contracts. I think he's Tom Brady's agent, if I'm not mistaken. But Harbaugh already gearing up for the NFL. So it's going to be a pretty crazy offseason in terms of the coaching movement. It's a pretty stacked coaching pool. Gerard Mayo is another hot name out there that is going to be competing with Vrabel to take the Patriots job. Ben, you threw out some names for Bill Belichick. I'm also hearing that Arthur Blank is ready to throw everything at Bill Belichick. The same owner that lost to Bill Belichick's Patriots in the Super Bowl, the 28-3. He's willing, I'm hearing, to give Bill Belichick everything and more in terms of the GM and coaching role. And that's a decent spot. They got a good defense. You saw what they were able to do despite their coach and Arthur Smith, who got fired the same day that he complained about, getting scored on by Jamal Williams there at the end. But neither here nor there. It's going to be interesting to see where all these coaches land. But shout out, I do want to spend some time talking about Nick Saban. To me, the true, I don't want to say the true GOAT, but he is in the college ranks, without a doubt, to me, the best coach of all time. What he did with LSU, you go back further to what he did with Michigan State, but you go to LSU, they weren't really good before he got there, turned them into a powerhouse. And then you look at where they're at today, 2 or 3 coaches after him, then goes and does what he does with Alabama, resurrects them. Definitely want to give Nick Saban his flowers because, definitely one of the best to ever do it. And I do think that he's getting out of the game at the right time. You saw some of the crazy stuff that went on throughout the season with the team, again, not being as good as it usually is, but still good enough, obviously, to upset Georgia and get to the Final Four. But it's just a changing of the guard and the college ranks and the way that the game is played in terms of recruiting with the transfer portal. Just a lot for a man in his 70s to really handle and want to stay at the top, because we know Nick Saban is not going to coach 2 or 3 years at 9-3 or 8-4 because he's not getting the best recruits. He's not going to do that. He's like, you know what? I already did what I did. My resume stands on its own, can't be touched. I'm going to go off into the sunset. So I got to give Saban his props. That's my last point here.
Man, it looks like he ran, Roland. The SEC gets stronger with teams coming in. Now he's going to have to.
That's what I'm saying. He picked the right time. He picked the right time to get out.
But I mean, right when the going gets tough, it's like, see ya. I mean, it is a smart move on his part, but I mean, I don't think that it's going to be that easy for the next man up that, comes and fills in his shoes. We saw players decommitting, the same day that he announced that he was going to retire. Big 5-star wide receivers said deuces. You got Texas coming into the SEC. You got Oklahoma coming into the SEC. Now you're having to recruit your own players that are already on your team to stay on your team.
Yeah, it's a different game.
Yeah, the game has definitely it's changing. I don't want to say it's passed him by because he was still in the Final Four, but why do all that work at the age of 72, like you said?
Exactly.
Yeah, he mentioned the grind this year was the toughest. We saw after the USF game, he flipped a switch and he had to grind harder than ever it was. So achieving the college football playoff semifinal was the toughest he's ever had to do amongst other seasons. So he knew going forward it's going to be a lot harder with the players he has and the coaches he has. He just doesn't have the coaching tree around him right now. A lot of those guys have become head coaches elsewhere. So getting out at this time is the right time. Now, for Alabama, the next 48 hours are going to be very critical because if you don't get the right guy, if you don't transfer power the correct way, you're going to have another situation with Rich Rod where you couldn't even get the West Virginia coach. And it's hard because who wants to step into those shoes? Those are some of the biggest shoes ever to be, to fill in college football. He's the GOAT. As a college football fan, I'm sad. I'm sad that Saban's gone. I'm not an Alabama fan, but I'm a fan of greatness. Yeah. And that's the greatest of all time.
End of an era. And, you brought up a good point, Justin. The next 48 hours is going to be crucial. The next guy that they hire is going to be crucial. But I kind of side on the side of what Ben said, that it's kind of a losing proposition going in, trying to fill those shoes the year after. Ben's already noted a 5-star receiver has decommitted. Other coaches are going to be in there. Dan Lanning already passed up the job, said he's going to stay at Oregon, who was, I think, the obvious number one choice. He had graduate assistant ties. Oh, so Oregon ended up. I mean, he's got that Phil Knight Nike money, so
Yep.
definitely stayed in the right spot for now. But interesting to see what happens with Bama. They've been a powerhouse, for the past, however long Nick Saban has been there for. So yeah, definitely going to be interesting to see how they recover and see if a team like Texas or somebody like that can jump in and take control over there in the SEC. Are you guys ready to talk some playoffs?
Let's get here to the Super Wild Card weekend.
I'm
All
ready,
right.
man. Let's go.
All right. Well, Ron, let's walk us through the games, Ron. What games do we have to look forward to on Saturday?
All right, so starting off on Saturday, you have the Houston Texans visiting the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns winning the division. OG quarterback versus the new young.
No. They didn't win the division. The Ravens
Who
did.
did?
The Ravens.
Oh
did.
yes, I'm sorry.
The Browns are visiting Houston.
Oh, the Browns.
Well, that's
oh,
what he
okay,
meant to
okay,
say.
okay.
That's what he meant to say. The
Yeah,
Texans are
Cleveland's
the
on the bottom here. Yeah.
yeah.
And then let's see. So Miami's going to KC. And then those two games are on Saturday. Don't forget, like me, I sat Lamar last Saturday, or I started Lamar. Sorry. Then you switch to Sunday. Let's see, boys. What's the first game on Sunday? The
First game on
Buffalo
Sunday
and
is
the
the
Steelers.
Bills. Yeah.
All right, and then you have our boys, the Dallas Cowboys. In Jerry's world, we're gonna welcome Jordan Love, whip his ass real quick, and then we have Sunday night. We're capping off with Detroit and LA, the first playoff game ever in Detroit, or like the last 10 years, or I don't know. It's been a minute.
Been like
And
20
then Monday
years,
night.
probably.
Yeah, Monday night, you guys were mentioning kind of weird, but it has been done before. Our rivals in the East, the Eagles, going to Tampa Bay and facing off against Baker Mayfield. So let's run it, man. The first game, let's break down the Browns and the Houston Texans. The guy with the only Houston Texans gear on, the bucket hat, Benny Buckets himself. Why don't you lead us in on this, man?
Yeah, so excited for the game. The Browns are 3-point favorites, 3.5-point favorites. If I'm not
2-point
mistaken.
I saw
favorites
two
right now.
today.
Two right
two
now.
today. So the line's gone down. Maybe it opened up at 2.5, but I know it didn't open up at 2.
It opened 1.5, got up to 2.5, back down to 2.
Oof, a lot of movement. This is a rematch. The Browns killed them. That was Amari Cooper's career game. He went crazy. CJ Stroud didn't play in that game. Nico Collins didn't play in that game. There was a lot of injuries that game. So here you get to run it back. I think that they played in Houston originally too. So Cleveland comes back over. We know that they rested a lot of their starters, last week of the season. So they come in here fresh. Houston was battling for their life to get in. They end up winning the division. But I mean, I'm excited. I know that, we've talked about the Browns defense and how crazy that defense is. They've got CJ Stroud over under 1.5 pass TDs at plus money. So, it's going to be in a dome. You don't have that weather game. This is going to be, ideal conditions for playing football, but you're up against that Browns defense. I think it's going to be a tough game, but I mean, in the playoffs, that's the time where you usually go with the better quarterback. And I know that it's a rookie against the vet, but I mean, this is a Joe Flacco that we didn't even think would start a game this season. He wasn't even a thought, until the Browns made that call. So I'm going to go, obviously, homer pick. I'm going to go with the better quarterback, and I'm going to go for the Texans to get their lick back against the Browns. I think it's going to be a field goal game. Whoever wins, I think it's going to be a field goal game. If the Browns win by a field goal, Texans by a field goal.
Yeah, I think the line is right where it's supposed to be, right around the 2 to 3 spot, not yet going over 3. Initially I liked the Browns coming out here because they have the more balanced team in my eyes in terms of, they can attack you with a run. And I hear everything that Ben said, but you almost got to take that out of consideration because we've seen Joe Flacco now for almost half a season. And I mean, he's good. This is a good version of Joe Flacco, right? He's not the Joe Flacco that was playing on the Jets. And even then, I mean, he was playing on the Jets. It's a completely different situation. He was a statue back there for the Jets, but I mean, that's a failing proposition right there, a losing proposition. No one's going to win there. So you fast forward, he's playing great football right now for the Browns. They have a nice, balanced attack. They have a good defense, but what scares me is going into an arena or an environment like NRG. They haven't had a playoff game in a little while. We know how loud that stadium can get, how lively that stadium can get in a playoff setting because they had a great run when they had J.J. Watt there. We know what they have been doing prior to this, new generation that they've had with with CJ Stroud. So I will end up saying that the Texans is where I'm going to be siding in this game. I like the Texans. I think they're going to come out and strike fast, similar to how they did in this last game. I think that's the key here. They need to strike fast. Joe Flacco, even though he has been playing good, he's still good for a few interceptions. That game against the Texans that they beat them, I mean, it's partially why I didn't win a fantasy championship this year, neither here nor there. But Joe Flacco still had his Flacco moments. It's just like the Texans were just actively trying not to win that game, and doing everything they could to not win. And so I like the Texans here. Like Ben said, no CJ Stroud in that last game. CJ Stroud's going to play here. Give me the Texans. This is a team, they're so young that they don't know that they're not supposed to be there. It's kind of one of those things like, yeah, they're inexperienced, but when you have a quarterback like CJ Stroud, there's a sense of belief. And I think that's kind of gonna be the, what pushes them over the edge here against the Browns, even though the Browns to me are probably the better team in terms of their roster.
Justin, are you siding? We got 2 for the Texans. Where do you want, my boy?
I'll make it quick. I'm
Texas
with the Browns.
pick?
I'm with the Browns here.
Woo!
I got to go with Coach of the Year, Stefanski. He's the Coach of the Year, and he's done it with a makeshift O-line. They had to, injuries on the O-line. They replaced different variables. And Flacco, Ben said, we didn't think he was going to be on a team. Well, I think that's beneficial to Flacco. He hasn't had to put the work in. He's not banged up. He had a week rest. A better quarterback, I think at this point, is Flacco. I think CJ has the trajectory to be the better quarterback. I think his career will be better. I'd be a homer not to say it because I love CJ.
No.
But at this point in time, I think Flacco's better. He just has the veteran tricks and the veteran abilities. I got to go the Cleveland Browns here.
I mean, what are you going to say, Ron?
That's going to be the wildest take of 2024 when we come back.
No, it's not the wildest take, man, and I'll second that. It's all right. So, rookie quarterbacks in the wild card are 2-9. All right, Cleveland has registered. Cleveland has rested, and Texas. Let's not forget they just battled a tough game against Indianapolis. I mean, they're a banged up squad. All right, the Browns won 36-22 in Week 16. All right, and one thing here, guys, is that the Houston offensive line is not great. And then you're going to go against the 6th ranked team in sacks. I mean, we've talked about it all year, the Browns defense. Then you're going to have this Houston O-line try to stop them. That's not going to happen. Cleveland also allowed the 2nd lowest QBR in the league. And then let's not forget, the guy's a rookie, no playoff experience. He's been phenomenal. Clearly, I'll give him that. But there's levels, baby. There's levels. All right? And then also, Flacco's a veteran. No panic in his game. He's going to relax. He knows how to make the reads. Let's not forget, he has a veteran wide receiver out there in Amari Cooper, Kareem Hunt.
Who's been out the last 2 weeks with an injury.
And they can still challenge that Houston secondary. It's just for me.
There's no hate, Edgar. There's no hate. It's just this is my pick. I would much rather see.
But saying Flacco's better than Stroud right now is hate, bro.
I don't think it's hate. I don't think it's hate.
I've been on CJ for way before you have.
That's wild.
So it's not hate.
Joe Flacco has been playing good this year. I was gonna say, watching Joe Flacco play, he's playing at almost like a different speed. It looks like he's playing not like in slow motion, but he's just playing so fluid right now. I see what you're saying, Justin. He's in a groove right now. He's playing really fluid. I like what I'm seeing. So yeah, it's a 2-point spread, and it's a 2-point spread for a reason, right? You see him at home. You usually see a home favorite at 3 or maybe a little bit more, but since it's shorter than that, they are expecting the home, or not the home, the away favorite here.
But this is the Browns team
who has 13 touchdowns and 8 interceptions, bro. Like, let's just pump the brakes. I mean, we're giving him this much credit because we said nobody thought he would be on an NFL team, but 13 TDs to 8 INTs, like we're out here talking about. Like,
how many wins?
He's better than CJ Stroud.
How many wins has that converted to? How many wins has that converted to? 13 touchdowns
look, the
and 8
Texans had the 2nd overall pick in the draft, Ron, and they won the division. So how many wins?
Great season by the Texans. We're not taking away anything what the Texans did this season by picking the Browns.
About how many wins
it's a one-shot game. We're just picking the winner in our opinion. And it can't
Yeah.
be hate if just because we're against the team
Yeah.
that you're on.
No,
Like, that's not
it's
hate,
Joe
bro.
Flacco. That's hate, bro.
It's not.
No,
it's
it's
not
not,
hate. It's
bro.
just. It's
Joe
just. It
Flacco
might
It's
be
a
a hot
difference
take.
of opinion.
Yeah, difference of opinion, but
No, hot take. Hot
Hey,
take. Call it
Flacco
that.
has
That's a
come
Skip
in and
Bayless
done
take right
nothing
there.
but win for the Browns. All he's done is
So-
gotten them into the playoffs and given them dubs. And then they're gonna go to Houston and win by 2.5, and we're hating on CJ Stroud.
So now
Ben's
tell me what
guaranteeing
has
a win
CJ
here. The
Stroud
way
done
he's
for the
talking,
Texans,
it's
Ron?
impossible that the Browns have a chance. He's guaranteeing a win. By the way
I
he's
know,
talking,
who's-
if we're this far
Okay.
apart, that means Ben is 100% the Texans will
No,
win.
no, because they have
Yes,
a better
bro.
defense.
It
I'm
is.
caught up on the quarterback conversation. That's I'm not saying the Browns are not a better overall team, but when we're talking about the quarterback situation, you all are tripping, bro.
I'm going to
You
go with
are
the veteran
tripping.
here. I think it's closer than
You're
think.
saying, look, Flacco translated to wins. They picked this kid number 2 overall. It translated into double-digit wins. What are we talking about?
yeah, I see what you're saying. I think what will tip the scale in the Browns' favor to me will be their defense and their pass rush. Like if Myles Garrett is making a living in that Texans backfield and not letting CJ Stroud get his stuff off, then that's where I see problems for the Texans. That's what gives me pause about being so confident in that pick. But I also do side with Ben. I think CJ Stroud's a better quarterback today, yesterday, and even with how good Flacco's been playing. It's a different situation, though. You're asking Joe Flacco to run a balanced offense. You're asking CJ Stroud to throw 45 times a game. It's different. But I side with Ben in terms of who's the better quarterback. Guys, let's just leave this one at 2 versus 2. Whoever wins, can come back on the pod and, we'll have some more shit talk to
Put
talk
Edgar's
about.
comment up there, man. Let's close out with that shit right there.
4,000 yards and best TD to interception rating, winning the division. Come on, man. Okay, and then he's gonna throw to who? Because he doesn't have Tank Dell. Nico Collins is back up.
Man.
His running
Nico
back.
just
Nico's
went
a
off
monster.
for
We saw Nico tear it up. But the thing is, he's without Tank Dell. So for this game, one situation, I gotta pick the Browns, and I think Flacco is better in this one-off situation. Obviously, the season CJ Stroud had way better. Rookie of the year.
Rookie of the year shit.
For sure. And
all right,
we got 5 more games to talk about.
Yeah,
here.
like Roland said, man,
Yeah.
we started off hot. We started off hot with the Browns. Let's transition to the other Saturday game here, boys. We have the Dolphins visiting the defending champions. Let's not forget KC. And I'll start off with this one. We'll go backwards this time. All right, so Miami, here are all the stats for them. 0-10 in below games of 40 degrees. Tua himself is 0-4, and then they're banged up, guys. Chubb is hurt. Van Ginkel is out. Howard as well. So their defense is going to be non-existent. They're going to have a bunch of backup guys in there. And the only thing that you can say is that Mostert is back. Tyreek's going to be hard to handle. But I think that Andy Reid and the Chiefs can game plan to stop. The number one weapon pretty much is just you stop Tyreek and you beat the Dolphins. All right. So that's why I'm going with KC -4. That's going to be my official play. And going back to experience, let's not sleep on the Chiefs. They're defending champs for a reason, man. We got to keep some respect on their name. Mahomes is 10-2 in the last 4 postseason years. All right, they're 9-1 at home in games under 40 degrees. And again, let's go back to the rest. They rested their starters last week, and Miami just came off a battle. Trying to win the division versus Buffalo. I think that KC's rested. They're experienced. Give me KC -4.
Oh yeah. What say you, Justin?
Yeah, I got to go with the Chiefs here. I think the season ended last week for the Dolphins. Once they didn't get home field, it was going to be over. Unfortunately, they do have a lot of injuries, and I just don't think Tua is the guy, especially in the cold. So give me KC to win this.
Yeah, the Dolphins definitely one of the more, tragic ends to the year. You have to consider how strong they started. People were talking like, Mike McDaniels had figured out the game of football. They put up 70 points on the Broncos and everybody was ready to, give him coach of the year. I'm just trying to illustrate how high these Dolphins were really flying at certain points in the year. You had Tyreek Hill. He was going for 2,000 receiving yards. He hit some injuries along the way that kind of slowed him down. And so then when you fast forward to where they're at today, you're going into that environment that Ron just laid out so perfectly with those stats, with Tua and the cold weather. You might as well, just fast forward to, round 2 for the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs have this game. The 4 points is a little scary. You never like to take anything over a field goal, but the Chiefs are going to win this game. it hasn't been pretty for them on the other side. They still have a lot of kinks to work out. Their receivers are dropping everything. Travis Kelce has not, done well since he started with, Taylor Swift. I'm not even. He's had a swift decline, I've heard. So it's just not been
That's a
pretty
good
for.
line.
It's
Swift
not been
decline.
pretty for Travis Kelce and the Chiefs either. But for this week, I think they got enough to get it done. So give me the Chiefs.
Yeah, pretty crazy that it's going to be unanimous on the Chiefs for us here on the show, just with how bad they've looked. But I think, excuse me, that goes to tell you, I mean, that Hard Knocks curse is real. The Dolphins, the in-season team, they go the second half of the season. It seemed like as soon as that show started, shit started going south. Now, Waddle has been out and Mostert has been out. Clearly two huge parts of their offense, right? Because then your second receiver is – I can't even really name him right now.
Robbie Chosen, baby. Robbie Chosen.
Yeah, but I don't know if Mostert or Waddle are going to play. But just with the temperature wise, if this were, sunny out, pretty day for football, I might side with Miami, honestly. But just in these conditions with the way that they play, all the motions, all that stuff, and, I think they're supposed to be in single-degree weather, if not low teens. You got to just go with the Chiefs here. Probably something like 17-10, 17-7, something like that. But it's going to be a nasty game due to the weather.
The under's at 43, so you think it's going to get under there?
I think it goes up.
Yeah, that was a 44 yesterday, so trending down as we get closer to kickoff.
I love it, man. Let's start off the Sunday slate. Before I do, man, the chat's blowing up right here. Thanks to everybody for watching. Ryan, you've been on lately, man. Thank you, saying that Roland looking like Kyle Shanahan. Matt Jackson, haven't seen you in the chat before, man. I appreciate you joining us, letting us know that Tua is garbage.
Damn,
so I like that. Edgar, Allen, and Eddie.
Tua's one of those.
Appreciate all the love.
Tua's one of those guys. You either you like him or you hate him. He's a very polarizing player. You either have guys that are believers in Tua, or you guys have guys that are non-believers. Not going to call him a hater because, I mean, there are some stats that prove that Tua might not be that guy. So, I find it interesting. Tua's one of those guys. It's either end of the scale.
I love it. All right, so those were the Saturday games. The first game, we are split down the middle of the podcast. 2 boys for the Texans, 2 boys for the Browns. But we are in a consensus. Everybody's on the Chiefs as the defending champs. So let's get the Sunday going,
Buffalo
boys.
and Pittsburgh.
Huh? Yeah.
All right, so let's go to Pittsburgh, where they're going against Ben's ex squad. His little, fling. Ben, was that? I mean, the fling is over.
Yeah.
All right, a little fling. All right, so the Steelers visit Buffalo. Who wants to take the lead here, boys?
Yeah, I got
Let's
this.
Ben get this one.
Let me walk this in though, real quick.
Run it, Roland.
We gotta dress it up a little bit here.
Set
So
the stage.
it's Buffalo versus Pitt, the 2 seed. Buffalo ended up getting that 2 seed after beating Miami last week in dramatic fashion. They came back, beat them in the second half, won the AFC East. That was their only way in. It was win or lose. Buffalo's been playing playoff football for quite some time. They're 10-point favorites. I want to point out, as of today, the over-under is at 35.5. So you have a 10-point favorite with the Bills. The over-under is at 35.5. So I'll let you guys do the math there. And then we got 50-mile-per-hour winds expected in this game. Now, normally, I would say the Bills, 10-point spread, they're going to run away with this game. It should be pretty easy. But the Bills, they're a team that rely a little bit more on the pass. We've seen how they've done in the weather at home before in the playoffs and how it's hampered them in these situations. They're going up against a team in the Steelers. We all know the story with the Steelers. Kenny Pickett, not the guy. Mitch Trubisky, not the guy. Their savior has been waiting there all along. It's Mr. Mason Rudolph. He's the guy that's, given them that late season boost, got them into the playoffs, going up against Pitt here. But Buffalo should have enough to get this done. I don't know that they cover the 10, but I think they win this game easily by a touchdown for sure. It might get a little crazy with the 10 points and the 35-point total, but I think the Bills have enough to get it done and march on down the line. Now, Ben, we've been talking about your entanglement in the chat, but let me know what your thoughts are on this game. Do you think they cover the 10? Is it a 20-0 game for you?
First, I got to address you all putting me in the same sentence as Jada Pinkett with the word entanglement. That's some dirty work from the chat. What up, cuz? Shout out Steven, but hey, and Alan, entanglement, let's lose that word from our dictionary, cuz But back to this game, I think that this is going to be one. The Steelers are not going to have T.J. Watt for this game. Out last game with an injury. Seems to be pretty serious and won't be there this week. This just seems like one where the Bills kill the time of possession, hold on to the ball. Another one, Roland, I don't know if you mentioned the weather, but it's supposed to be some crazy winds, right?
50 mile per hour.
Yeah, so it's going to be nasty. Mason Rudolph can barely throw in decent weather. Now throwing the 50-mile-an-hour winds. Going to be a lot of Najee Harris, a lot of Jalen Warren. The Bills have been doing pretty decent with the run game. I see like 20-3, 20-7 type of game. I think another under. This is going to be – and I don't know what the trend is for wild card games, dating back, but I think that we have seen a lot of unders that first wild card weekend. We know that teams play a lot tighter. Possession of the ball is super important in the playoffs. Same as NBA, we see things change. Defenses change, certain looks that you don't show teams during the regular season. So I think the Steelers are going to be very one-dimensional in this game. And I don't see, Pickens getting into the mix or any of that with the weather. So I like the Bills 20-7, 20-3, something like that.
No TJ Watt either. Ruled out earlier this week for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Justin, I see you nodding your head there. Where are you going with this?
So I'm not comfortable enough to put the 10-point spread the Bills are, having just because of how much Josh Allen turns the ball over. You said 50 miles per hour winds. They're going to be running the ball a lot, so I don't expect them to throw a lot either. I'm definitely more comfortable on the unders. I would like to take the under 35.5. The Bills will win this game. The Steelers have no chance Sunday to win this game, but I just don't have the confidence to put a bet on -10.
I'm with you there. It's a little scary, especially with that low total. Ron, Eddie wants to hear your pick. What's up?
This is going to be the guy that keeps it from a consensus right here, bro. Watch this shit. Josh Allen's #1 hater right here.
I'll give you the Diaz pose, Ben. Pittsburgh -10. Let's get it. Pittsburgh -10. All right. I'm sorry. Pittsburgh +10.
I'm taking that alt spread,
bro. Shit's I got.
He's taking that alt. Pittsburgh -10. Plus 30,000.
Hey, that's a Diego Gutierrez bet right there. All right. Pittsburgh +10. TJ Watt, boys, like you guys mentioned, he's out. They're 1-10 when he's not on the field, and they're allowing an average of 27 points. It's Mason Rudolph's playoff debut. All right, so obviously the Steelers are not going to win this game, but I think that they hang around. Allen has thrown 17 touchdowns and 4 picks. They're 7-1 at home, so they're not getting beat in Buffalo. All right, Pittsburgh has allowed 42 points in their last 3 playoffs. All right, and then also I think the +10 to me is that the weather's going to prevent a blowout. And Pittsburgh still has stars. I mean, let's not get it twisted. Ben said that they're going to keep the ball on the ground.
Name a star.
Keep Pickens is a star. Warren is a star. They still got Najee there. They're guys who can, who can keep the game close, man.
That's trash.
They can keep the game close. They can keep the game close. Give me Pittsburgh +10 for all the reasons that I just mentioned. All right.
Hey, I like it.
I mean, obviously, the Bills aren't that strong of a team because you had to, switch back to the Houston Texans.
Now we're digressing. Now we're digressing. I see it. I see the 10. That's why I'm not laying the 10 with Buffalo, but I definitely think you got to put Buffalo in some parlays, maybe some teasers, get them below some key numbers. But guys,
I could see Buffalo falling back. I could see Buffalo trailing, starting off slow, and then having to come back.
Hey, this is a team, like we said, it was either they win last week and win the AFC East, or they missed the playoffs altogether because they didn't win or they didn't have any AFC tiebreaker this whole year. So that's why they would have dropped out.
But Ben says they're the 2 seed.
They are the 2 seed.
They're all world. They're all world, bro. They're all world.
Hey,
but hey, guys,
what I will say is, Roland, you said the total was in the 30s, right?
35.5.
35.5. So then let's talk team totals. What do you think that the Steelers team total is going to be at? I think that would be a better play.
Find out.
If you think that they're going to be up, because it's going to be like at 10.5 or something.
It'll probably be 10.5 or 13 maybe. Attempt to maybe take those 2 touchdowns, but they won't get over. They won't score 14 points on Sunday. Sunday. But let's get to the real reason why we're all here, guys. It's that Sunday afternoon game. It's the game against the team that has haunted the Cowboys in the playoffs the past couple of years. It's a different quarterback.
I'm a nose.
It's not Aaron Rodgers anymore. It's Mr. Jordan Love, the quarterback. Where did he go to school? Nevada or was it
Utah
Nevada
State.
or Utah State? Utah State. Thank
Aggies.
you. I knew it was navy blue. But Jordan Love came here. He proved himself throughout the year. Got the Green Bay Packers into the 7th spot. Played pretty well in his first stint as a full-time starter as a Green Bay Packers quarterback. Gets himself a matchup with the Dallas Cowboys, the number 2 seed. They won the NFC East after the Philadelphia Eagles, so happily handed it over to us with their end-of-the-year choke job. But the Cowboys, they took care of business. They got the 2 seed. Dak playing MVP level football. I'm not saying he's going to win the MVP, but he's in that conversation. The defense, we all know they're flying high. We got Dan Quinn as a head coach prospect over here. But it's the Dallas Cowboys. It's the playoffs. It's the Packers. We're 7.5-point favorites. I'm going to throw it to the Cowboys fans that are here with me on this podcast, Justin and Ron. You guys usually give me the reasons to be confident because I'm usually a little bit more of a sad boy when it comes to being a Cowboys fan. So, guys, tell me why I should be confident in the Cowboys this weekend.
So first off, I just don't know how this game is not prime time.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's the Cowboys. You know, obviously they got the viewership. It didn't make sense to me that it's not prime time. I'll start there. It doesn't matter. The boogeyman's gone. Aaron Rodgers is a Jet, and he's hurt. And now he's just a talking head. The boogeyman is gone. The Cowboys don't have to worry about him anymore. Now, the line did drop. It was -7.5. It's now -7. That gives me a little bit of pause about covering the 7. But we haven't lost at home. It's been, I don't know, 19 games. I don't know what the number is, but it seems like it's been forever
Making
ago.
me smile.
So I got to go with the Cowboys. I like the Cowboys to win this game.
What about you, Ron? I see that big grin on your face.
All right, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna be as surreal as I can because last time I hyped the F out of the Cowboys, bro, and you're like, you know what? I wasn't gonna bet on them, but after what you said, Ron, I'm taking them. We're smashing them.
That's true.
And we took a huge L. Like we just got like blown out by somebody or something. So all right, man. Here are my stats for the game. There's a lot of high expectations and pressure for the boys. Green Bay, they got nothing to lose, man. Nothing to lose. All right, so they're gonna be taking all the risks. Cowboys players are gonna be nervous. I'm not gonna lie. All right, we put our 16-game home win streak, and then after, and then okay. So Jordan Love, after week 11, like Noe was in here in the comments. Noe, you had a good point. After week 11, Jordan Love has thrown 18 touchdowns and only 1 pick. All right. However, the number 7 seed is 0-6 and only averages 12 points. All right, I'm dropping some knowledge because I had to get myself straight about not just smashing the boys at -7.5, but the biggest caveat to me is Green Bay secondary is super sus. And who's going to dice them up? The MVP.
Your
baby.
sus quarterback?
This guy right here, baby. The MVP. All right. However, my official play, Green Bay +7.5. Give me the dub. Of course, we're going to get the dub. But I can see the boys being up like 14, 15-ish. And then Green Bay scoring late and then doing like a 2-point conversion to kind of just, do what the Cowboys always do to us, screw us in the last minute, to just give us a tronco on the bad beat. So give me the +7.5 with Green Bay. And I'll give them credit. I had a lot of Green Bay Packers on my fantasy squad this year. Jaden Reed gave me a lot of points, man. And he did ball out. Aaron Jones is back. Don't sleep on Aaron Jones either, So Green Bay has enough talent.
Like Ron
it's
has
gonna be a close game.
Ready, bro.
No. Dallas is taking the dub here, boys. Easy.
Betting on the Packers
2-0 right now.
In case.
We'll go to Roland. We'll go to Roland to make it 3-0 Cowboys, and then we'll end it off with that.
Yeah, I'm a little cautious about that 7.5 because of all the points that Ron laid out about that end of game situation. But this is a game that the Cowboys should have in hand, wire to wire. No BS. Where the Cowboys are the better team. They have the better roster. Ron laid out, and he said it perfectly. The secondary for the Packers, they have Jair Alexander, but they're still super sus. They made one of the worst trade. Who's hurt also? You're right. And they made one of the worst trades of the year. They traded one of their better corners, Butler, over to the Bills, who ended up being one of the Bills' better cornerbacks throughout the year. He ended up getting hurt this past game, I think, Rasul Butler. But that secondary is ripe for the picking. I like Dak to throw I mean, if the line for his passing touchdowns is over 1.5 or 2.5, I like him to throw 3 touchdowns. This is one of those games. The line's at 44.5. I like the Cowboys to flex their muscles a little bit here and give us a little bit more confidence going into the second round. Still not saying we're going to go ahead and win a Super Bowl yet, because still got to get through the 49ers, but definitely like the Cowboys' chances this week. Going to lay off on taking the 7.5, going to have them in some plays, though, for sure, because they're going to get this one done.
And, before Ben goes, where no one's talking about McCarthy coming back to play the Green Bay Packers, the script is there.
True.
Yeah, the Packers also might know his script, so
they might.
I like the plus 7.5. I do think the Cowboys win. I'm not going to hate, but I do like the plus 7.5 just because. I mean, I get the regular season level that y'all are saying Dak has been playing at, but every time the playoffs come around, y'all are hating your lives and saying Dak is not the answer. So this is just another start to the playoffs. Where you're not at that point yet, but in 14 days you might be at that point. I don't think it's going to be this week. I like the overs in this game. I do like some scoring to get done. The Packers have just found a way, like even with, I think their best receiver, I forget his name already. That's how injured he was all damn season, Watson. But
Watson.
They found a way, with these receivers. Aaron Jones is back and he looks to be healthy and, contributing to them making the playoffs last week, had a big game. I like the plus 7.5, but I do think the Cowboys win this.
Just real quick, speaking on wide receivers, Ben, Dobbs has been playing well, and this new guy Wicks.
And I like their tight end Kraft. I think next year in fantasy football, we're going to be talking about Kraft as a fantasy tight end.
Tucker Kraft.
Yep. I love it. All right, so is it all consensus that Cowboys are going to win but not cover?
I think everyone's on that consensus: win but no cover.
All right, man. So we're midway through the games. Actually, we've already gone through 4. We got 2 left. Roland, take us into Rams versus Detroit.
Yeah, so last 2 games here, going to try and make it a little quick, but it's probably the best script. I know Justin just brought up a script here with the Cowboys and the Packers and all the underlying, storylines there, but the Lions and the Rams truly have a great storyline when it's Matt Stafford versus the Lions in their first home playoff game in quite some time, and then you got Jared Goff going up against his old team. This opened up Lions -4. It's been bet to Rams +3 the last that I checked. The Rams playing some of the better football in the NFL. Matt Stafford showing us again why he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, doing it time and time again, being the ultimate, kingmaker in terms of wide receivers, making Puka Nacua into one of the better wide receiving options in the NFL today as a rookie. Right now, like I said, Lions -3, juiced a little bit, -115. So I got to pay a little bit more for that. And I'm going to side with the Rams here. I think the Rams, with their coaching experience, Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford at quarterback, the weapons that they have. I didn't even mention Kyron Williams, one of the better surprises that popped out this year in terms of fantasy and real life football, because he's just he's a true baller out there as a running back.
Good.
So give me the Rams here. I can put more trust and faith in what I'm going to get out of Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay versus putting my money on Dan Campbell. I love the guy, but he looks like he wants to cry half the time on the sidelines with all of his emotions. He's going to go for it on 4th down on his own 20. So I can't trust him in this situation. I know Jared Goff at home is a beast, and they're going up against a defense, which I think they should have some success against. But give me the Rams to get it done and an upset here, +3. So give me the Rams outright.
I like it too. I'm going to piggyback just because I'm on the same side. It's not necessarily Dan Campbell for me. It's Jared Goff. And the fact that the Rams know Jared Goff so well. I mean, that was the coaching staff that was there while he was there. It's different coaching staff under Matt Stafford, right? Never played for Campbell or any of those guys. But I just think that the Rams have the weapons are going to be there. I think this is going to be the shootout of all shootouts this weekend. Really like the over in this game. Everybody's props over. I mean, Kyron's going to score. St. Brown's going to score. Everybody's going to score. But I do like the Rams to get the upset here. We saw them kind of turn the switch. We didn't know if they were going to tank this year or win. Stafford, like you mentioned, Roland, kudos to him. Puka's not going to win Rookie of the Year, but he damn sure made a case for it, with behind the arm of Stafford. I like the Rams. They've been hot. I like them to get through a Jared Goff-led Detroit team here.
You know, Ben was talking about scoring, saying that everybody was going to score. Well, you know who's not going to score? Sam Laporta. And for that reason, Goff not having his blanket, I got to go with the Rams. Give me the Rams to win this game.
Great point, Justin. No, Sam Laporta's out. Is that correct?
Yeah, Campbell had those guys playing for no reason all the way into the fourth quarter when he had no way to move up. It would take like a miracle. He would need the Cowboys to lose and the Eagles to lose just to move up spots. It was never going to happen. And I think he's going to pay this weekend for it. Unfortunately, he does change the culture. They have no experience in the playoffs, though. So I think it's going to take some time while the Rams have all the experience. They won a Super Bowl. So that's the difference.
I love it, man. Before we continue, the chat's blowing up again. Zamора's in here dropping some knowledge, dropping some stats. Todd, co-worker of mine, who's a huge Chiefs fan. Shout out to you, Todd. Big Rainy just joined us on YouTube. What's up, Big Rainy? You need to let us know when you got another single dropping or something, man. We can play it on our intro. So, but yeah,
Yes,
Big Rainy, huge Lions fan here. So shout out to Rainy. I'm gonna make it a consensus, boys. Let's all get the Rams at +3.5. Laporta is out, like Justin mentioned, and the Rams have rest. McVay didn't play a lot of guys either, and he knows Jared Goff. I mean, wasn't he like, with his chick or something like that? I don't know what the off-field drama is.
There's a little group chat. There's a little group chat that went on there, I think, with Jared Goff saying he would do something to someone's wife. But go ahead, Ron.
Yeah.
Wow.
My wife, my mic went off. All right, so the Rams have also averaged 28 points when all others that Roland mentioned are playing. I mean, that offense just clicks, man. Let's not forget about Cooper Kupp, who's an absolute stud back there when he's healthy. Stafford has 18 touchdowns to only 3 picks, and the 6 most points allowed by that Detroit defense. So that defense of Detroit cannot stop a lot of high-powered offenses like these Rams. All right. And just a quick scientific note, I was doing a little research, and because of the time difference, this is actually a 5:00 game for the Rams, and then 5:00 is like supposed to be your prime time peak performance hours. So another reason why I'm taking the Rams.
Where did you conduct this research at?
A little Gatorade.
What university was this?
I can't, I
The
can't disclose all my
are
sources
at 5
here.
p.m., Justin. That's all you need.
Hey, this is top-notch research. We need this team right here.
Next
Hey,
gen.
You're welcome,
Next gen.
bro. You're
Next gen
welcome.
research.
Randy said he logged on right on time just to hear us all go consensus Rams over the Lions. Chingal, sorry, Randy.
Lions against the world in this situation here, or Lions against we talking about sports. But hey, you guys brought up a good point too. That defense for the Lions, it was playing pretty good at certain points in the year, but they've just been leaking to end the year. Can't really stop much of anything. So yeah, man, I see why we're all here on the Rams today. Anything else on this game before you guys want to go on and talk about the Monday night game?
I'll give out a prop already. I know that Hutchinson to get a sack is at 0.5. And I definitely think Hutchinson's been balling. He's been getting a sack or 2 weekly. So lately, I expect him to get to Matthew Stafford, who's very sackable. Very sackable.
I like that play.
Nice.
And then again, we just last game that Roland's gonna get into, but I can't thank the chat enough again. Neil's in here, Todd, Big Greeny just showed up. I mean, the love is real. We appreciate all the support, boys. Thank you very much.
Everybody.
If you can like, comment, and share, it just gets this information to more people. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you everybody for watching. Much appreciated. This last game, not gonna take too much time on it because they're our rival. Don't want to give them too much, air time, too much more than they need. But it's the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucks, they won the NFC South, the worst division in football. Somebody had to win it. The Bucks got it done. I think they were pretty much the definition of average this year. They were good, not great, bad in some spots. And Baker Mayfield, credit to him, he stepped up his play in certain games and really accelerated that team and took them to the playoffs. But they're playing the Eagles. They limped into the playoffs. They had the NFC East all but one. They're the first team I saw the other day. This was from a Philadelphia Eagles haters page. I don't follow it. It just came up on my feed for whatever reason. It said the Eagles are the first team to start the NFL season 10-1 and not win 12 games. They finished 11-6. So they started off hot. We were talking about them. We talked about that 6-game gauntlet that they had, right? It was about 6 games where they were just playing a murderer's row of teams.
Yep.
They got through some of it, but then on the back end of that, you saw some injuries. The play started to decline, and then that all to me, I'm messing with the word here, but it came down to the last week. We saw Jalen Hurts. He messed up his middle finger. He was flicking off America. He came out and said today that he's still yet to throw a football.
He can't grip a ball.
It gives me a little bit of worry hearing that the quarterback, even though Jalen Hurts is not known for his throwing acumen, that he still has not been able to grip a football. I'm going to say that he's going to be healthy enough to play because he's a gamer. He's going to find a way to get there because he's Jalen Hurts, and they'll have enough to get it done this week. So, yeah, give me the Eagles to win. The line's at 3. It opened up around 2. I think it's been bet in the Eagles' favor a little bit. But give me the Eagles to win here, and they're going to bow out next round. But they'll get it done this week. Justin, Ron, what do you guys think about our rival this week?
Yeah, I think the Eagles do win. I think Jalen's going to play. He has his legs. He can still use his legs. They'll just do 100 tush pushes and get in. That's what they're going to do. The Browns, other than Antoine Winfield and what's his name, Bush, they don't really have the defense to match what the Eagles can do on offense. Mariota's the backup. I don't think we even see him. Give me the Eagles to win by that margin of 3 or less. They're going to get it done, though.
Yeah, I like the Bucks. I think that I agree with Todd. I think he says it's too many internal issues. I mean, we heard A.J. Brown earlier in the season that he wasn't getting the ball. Then late in the season, he stopped getting the ball.
And
Devontae Smith is injured.
He got hit pretty bad last game.
A.J. Brown's injured and might not even play. So, honestly, everything is just stacking up against the Eagles here. I don't want to say that they're checked out because even though, the way their season has gone lately, but, man, they're beat to hell.
Mm-hmm.
They're beat to hell, and this is a very winnable game for Tampa Bay. In Tampa Bay, so the Eagles are traveling, you know what I mean? With Hurts saying he can't even grip the ball or hasn't thrown a ball, that worries me a lot. Yeah, give me the Bucks. Give me the Bucks outright.
So I got to ask you, Big Dom is coming back, and with Big Dom on the sidelines, the Eagles haven't lost. Does that change your mind, Ben?
That doesn't change my mind. Big Dom ain't going to be crossing the goal line for them, so no.
I love it, Ben. That was perfect, man. Let's ride the Bucks wave here. All right. Let's ride Baker Mayfield. The Baker Mayfield Bucks. I like the sound of that, man. Hurts the finger. And just like Todd, I have it here in my notes, bro. I have the word imploded also. So Philly has definitely imploded. And I think just the overall attitude, over there. You saw A.J. Brown. He was like sitting down in the end zone all upset, when they lost like a little kid, throwing a tantrum on the floor. And then we go back to another situation. Green Bay has nothing to lose against Dallas. Hey, Tampa Bay has nothing to lose against Philly. I mean, clearly they're the dogs here, so they're supposed to lose the game. Multiple injuries. And with the injuries to the wide receivers, what do? Right? You would say, oh, Philly's going to go to the run game. But guess what? Tampa Bay's number one thing they do on defense is stop the run. They're the 8th best team in the NFL at stopping the run. So if you can't throw the ball and you can't run the ball and you can't grip the ball, what are you going to do if you're Philly? All right. And also Godwin and Evans, one of the most underrated wide receiver duos with a quarterback who just loves to throw the ball all over the field versus that Philly secondary all year, guys. All year we've seen this Philly secondary just get battered to shit. All right. So give me the Bucks +3. I love the upset. And dare I say, I agree with Big Pap's revenge up here. Tampa Bay outright is also a good look.
This could be Mike Evans' last game as a Buccaneer also. I like his props over.
Yeah, you brought up a lot of good points, especially with that Eagles secondary. They've been ripe for the picking all year. They can't really stop anybody. You've seen them blow a lot of games on that secondary. The one that comes to mind is that Seattle game where they just let them march down the field. And I think it was Bradbury got blown up there by Jackson Smith-Njigba at the end. But yeah, that secondary's been getting taken all year. I don't see why Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, can't take advantage. So a lot to be seen here, especially with Jalen Hurts. He hasn't been able to grip a football. I'm pretty sure he's going to play, but A.J. Brown hasn't practiced. I know he missed practice today. So still a lot to shake out here. And Ben and Ron, you guys might be onto something with that +3 and outright on the Bucks. Justin, do you want to switch your pick before we leave, or are you still with the Eagles?
I'm just going to give the Eagles the respect. I think they can get it done. I mean, I would be much, much happier if the Cowboys win and the Eagles lose, but I don't think that's the case.
How
What's
does it
wrong,
on
man?
Cowboys fans?
What's
say
wrong,
that?
This guy is
Ben?
willing to give the respect to his team's worst enemy, the Eagles, but he wouldn't respect CJ Stroud, bro. Like, this shit is crazy, bro. This is
Bro, how am
Let
I
him know,
disrespecting
dog.
CJ
Before
Stroud
we
just
go,
because I
let him
didn't
know,
pick him
man.
to win? Like, that's
Saying
crazy
Joe
of you.
Flacco is better than CJ
At
Stroud
this
right
point
now
for this one
is
game, the one-off.
disrespect.
I didn't say Joe Flacco had a better season.
No, I know
I said
you
I
did.
liked him in a one-off
No,
game.
that's
Hey, guarantee the win then. Guarantee it.
I guarantee CJ Stroud has better stats than
No,
Joe
no,
Flacco.
no, no. Guarantee the win.
Oh.
Guarantee the win.
Yeah, you got to guarantee the win.
Stand
in
on
this
business,
situation.
man. You're really serious about it. Stand on business
I'm really
about
serious that he's the better quarterback.
Stand on
Yeah, I am.
business.
But say
I'm
they're
really
going to win.
serious about
100% guarantee the win.
Why would I do that? I'm not going to
gotta
do that.
stand
I'm
on
not
it.
Then
gonna
why
go
talk
Didn't
about
it?
it
my
still?
own
You're
team.
still on it. Like, let it
Oh,
go.
Ben.
That
Been
was like half
around,
an hour
Justin.
ago.
This ain't my first rodeo, buddy.
That's
All
not a
right?
good look, Ben. That's not a good look.
I'm not
Hey,
throwing salt on my
I'm a.
squad, bro. I ain't doing that.
All right, check it out. Let's put the
You are
bracket up
throwing
here.
salt on the squad. You're going to the
Louis out of
game.
nowhere. Louis out of nowhere. Flacco beating the Texans. All right, so let's get Louis coming out of the way real quick, and let's just do a rundown, boys, real quick. Houston and Cleveland. Who do we have there?
Give me. We'll just go one by one. I got Houston.
I got Houston.
Ben, Justin.
Cleveland, we already went through these picks.
Yeah.
All right, Cleveland. Yeah, it's just
Right,
a
so
People tuned in
recap,
later. We're just
rundown.
updating them on where we went.
Yeah, Justin has somewhere to go, guys.
Nah,
all right, Casey.
he's realizing that he's wrong and he's getting pissed now.
I'm
All
not
right,
mad.
Casey.
You're the one that's still hung up on it. I do.
Casey and Miami.
I like Ohio State. I've been with CJ. I like CJ. Trust me.
He was. We
But
talked
you're
about
no
my
longer a
number one
Stroud
quarterback.
boy,
quarterback.
bro. I
game.
kicked you out, bro.
Hey,
I
he was
kicked
the
you
number one
out, bro. You're
quarterback
no
in our
longer
draft
a Stroud.
process, right, Justin?
Yes, he was the number one. I told everybody CJ Stroud over Bryce Young. Me and Roland went into depth about it. It's not.
Yeah,
like I
now
hate
you're
on
telling
the team.
everybody
This
Flacco
is my
over
guy.
Bryce Young and over CJ. Now you're
All right,
telling
Ron. What's the
everybody-
second game? What's the second
Yeah,
game?
it looks like we got the guys in the chat are participating as well too. So as we go along our picks, drop your picks here so we can
I
keep
like
the
that chat.
receipts. All right, KC in Miami. Give me KC.
Yeah, give me the
Casey.
Swifties. Give me the
I got
Swifties.
KC.
All right, Miami. I'm sorry, Buffalo and Pittsburgh. I'm taking Buffalo.
Bills Mafia.
I
Buffalo
got the
Bay.
Bills.
All right, Tampa Bay and Philly. Tampa Bay for me.
Tampa Bay outright.
Eagles.
Give me the Eagles here. I think they'll get it done.
All right, 2-2. Detroit and the Rams. Give me the Rams to go into Detroit and win.
Rams.
Yeah, I got the Rams also outright.
Yeah, give me the Rams.
All right, I love it. Dallas and Green Bay. You know the boys is where it's at for
This
me.
is a year, baby. This is a year.
Boogeyman's gone. Give me the Cowboys.
Cowboys win, Packers cover.
I love it, man. All right, so let's get this bracket off. We can freestyle for a couple seconds. If not, we can call it a show. Do it the chat. I mean, I cannot thank you guys enough. It was a great show. I look forward to the wild card weekend with you boys.
Chat's been live. Thank you everybody for commenting and keeping it going. Really build off of a lot of those comments. We see Eddie throwing in his picks here. He gave us all of his. I'm sorry, I did the same thing as somebody over here producing with me. Texans, Chiefs, Bills, Bucks, Rams, and PPC. What does that stand for? Somebody say what does that stand for?
I believe the official translation of PPC is Puro Pinche Cowboys.
I like it. I like it. Thank you for the explanation there. And then we got Eddie's picks here.
Browns, KC, Boss, Tampa, DC, and Rams. His picks. Edgar, where is Bill Belichick going?
Early favorite
Nobody
right
cares. We
now,
already
I
covered
think,
that.
is the Falcons, but I can see him going with the Chargers too. I mean, why wouldn't he want to, attach himself to Justin Herbert? Got a good offense, got a talented, top heavy, defense in terms of the names that they got there with Khalil Mack, Nick Bosa, Derwin James, to name a few. So kind of a good spot there. You do have to compete with Patrick Mahomes twice a year, but I don't think that's anything that would scare Bill Belichick away from necessarily going to the Chargers.
Bill Belichick's 15 wins away from being the all-time winningest coach in NFL history. Now, if you're, a GM or an NFL owner, would you fire your head coach for Bill Belichick? Or would you move on to try and get Bill Belichick? Is that crazy given the last 2 years in the history we've seen with Bill Belichick?
No, I don't think it's that crazy. It's like one of those things, like if you're the Bears, right? Like I think it's crazy that the Bears already came out and said that we're going to keep Eberflus. Why would you not try and recruit Bill Belichick now that he's a free agent per se, or he's out there to be had? Definitely would do that. What you just laid out, Justin. Fire my current coach or something like that. I know we're on the positive here, but let's just throw it out there because I do think that we haven't talked about it. Jerry Jones did say McCarthy.
I knew it.
He kind of said he's gonna be evaluated on a game-to-game situation in the playoffs. Let's just say worst case scenario, right? Things don't go our way on Sunday. Why wouldn't the Cowboys fire McCarthy and go for Belichick? I know we got Dan Quinn, but Dan Quinn might be linked to the Seahawks. Who knows what happens there? Just throwing out hypotheticals there. There's still a lot to shake out here in terms of coaches because who knows if McCarthy – I think McCarthy, it's NFC Championship or bust. If he loses in the first 2 rounds, it's over.
I have a hard time wrapping my head around that only because McCarthy's 12-5 in the last 2 seasons, but Jerry Jones wants to win, and I think he would do anything. And if somehow McCarthy doesn't end up at least at the NFC Championship game, I think that seat gets pretty hot. And I know that's crazy to say because he's 12-5 in the last 2 seasons. But with Bill Belichick being there and Jerry getting a lot older, wanting to win one as soon as possible, and the roster that he has, it's not completely out of the way, man. It's just weird wrapping my head around the thought of firing a coach or letting a coach go 12-5 over the last 2 seasons.
Two things for me right here real quick is that this is what Cowboys fans have always wanted, right? Since Jimmy Johnson left. We want a coach who's going to put his foot down and go against the owner and go against the GM. And, we want another Jimmy Johnson, another 3-peat dynasty. But Jerry Jones doesn't do that, bro. He doesn't. You think he's going to want to Bill Belichick in there? Because then everybody's going to respect Bill a lot more, possibly, than they will do Jerry. If the Cowboys start winning, who's going to get the credit? Bill Belichick. They're going to say, why didn't Jerry Jones do this a long time ago? Do you see this is what we needed, a better coach? And Jerry never let it happen. So that's both sides of the coin there for me on the whole Belichick going to
so bad that he would let this happen.
I think he'd kick Jimmy Johnson out of the Ring of Honor that he just inducted him in if it meant he could get Bill Belichick, bro. This man wants another ring before he dies.
I agree.
And Bill Belichick is the closest to a for sure of at least being in the situation that he could get. So I'm with these guys. I think that he would kill to get Belichick there.
Ben, you have a good coach, NFL head coach DeMeco Ryans. His alma mater just opened up.
Coach of the year, actually.
Might be. He's up there with Stefanski. He might be. Are you at all like any panic meter at all about the Alabama job at all? Anything?
No, I mean, he played for the Texans also, and he's an NFL guy. Why would he leave the current situation? I don't know. Is his name even being tossed around for that?
It's being tossed around, but not as high as other college coaches as that are in. But
I don't think he wants to do all that recruiting stuff and all of that. So I think there's like a 1% chance, if any. Yeah, I'm not paying too much mind.
He has no ties with Saban. He's with the Shula days, so it's not. I don't think it's a transfer of power for him at least.
Yeah.
All right, is that kind of a wrap, man, on our super wild card weekend?
Yeah, I think it's a wrap, man. There's so much to talk about. Like we said, it's a stacked coaching pool. A lot of dominoes still yet to fall. But hey, we've been here for over an hour. We've had a lot of fun talking with everybody here in the
great
chat.
Show, man.
A lot of fun, a lot of animosity. I love it.
Coaching carousel. Ron and Justin and Ben are about to throw down when we log off here, but we'll maybe record that and post it on the socials later.
But we'll
let that shake out. Yeah, we'll let that shake out. But anything else before we leave, guys?
Yeah, before we go, the hoodies that we got some hoodies, the beanies available. Roland has this one. The shadow gray WTBS stitched, and then Ben and Justin got it in navy. So hit us up if you want that merch. Other than that, I'm good, boys. I'm done. It was a hell of a show.
They can hit you up directly too, right?
Yeah, his mic went out, but give out his phone numbers just to the listeners. That way they could hit him up if they need anything.
Us on social media. We're good with
that. All right, I got nothing, man. I got nothing. Just excited for a weekend of football.
And UFC coming back. Super excited about that too.
All right, go Astros. Cool. Cowboys.
Hey, somebody take us out before my technical difficulties fuck up the outro.
I don't have the access to the outro today, so someone's got to do it.
Let me do the outro here. Just give me a second. All right, laters, guys.
Peace.
Peace.